Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I'd like to talk to you about a very important topic. I'd like to talk to you about how to think in terms of action items. Now let me explain first of all what I mean by an action item. Too many sales agents and business people have on their to-do list things like make a sale today. Make a sale is not an action item because that's not something that you're going to do. What you're going to actually do is you might drive to a prospect. So an action item, rather than being something like go on a sales, make a sale today, an action item might be drive to 3 new prospects today. That is an action item. You see the difference? If I said I'm going to make a sale today, that's great, but that's not an action item. An action item says I'm going to meet this many prospects, or I'm going to make this many phone calls, because that's an action. That's something that's actionable. It's something that you can do. Now, I've found 3 different areas where sales agents in the credit card processing industry lose focus on action items, and I'm going to talk about those 3. Number 1 is in sales. You need to be thinking in terms of action items when you're selling. A couple areas where that really affects you. I've seen sales agents that go out and speak to clients, and they spend so much time trying to make small talk with the merchant, trying to talk to the business owner, that they don't have clear action items. When you go to meet a merchant, there should be clear action steps that you want the merchant to take before you leave that meeting. And when you go to the meeting, your goal should be, I want this merchant to take the following action steps. It might be that you want the merchant to agree to bring in a processing statement the next day. Or it might be that you want the merchant to approve the paperwork. You might be at that stage. Whatever stage you're at, you need to be thinking in terms of action items. What do you want the merchant to do? And then communicate clearly to them what you would like them to do. When I go into a new merchant's location, the only thing I want the merchant to do is to provide me with a previous processing statement. I make it very clear that my action item for the day is not to sell them. I'm not trying to get them to approve the paperwork that day. All I'm trying to get them to do is get me a previous processing statement so that I can provide them with a cost analysis. Secondly, in your own sales process and in your mind, you must think in terms of action items when you think about, are you succeeding or failing at your job on a daily basis? In other words, what is your goal for the day in terms of action items? How many prospects do you want to meet today? Okay, did you meet that many prospects? If you did, then you succeeded on that action item, and if you did not, then you failed on that action item. How many merchants do you want to give you a processing statement? What action do you want your merchants to take? If they took that action, you succeeded. If you go into a meeting with a client, and I've heard sales reps, they tell me things like, I had a great meeting today with a prospect. I think we really connected well. Okay, that is not a good meeting, all right? A good meeting is, I met with a merchant today. My goal was to have him provide me with a processing statement, and he did that, okay? Action must be taken in order to have success. So success is not I feel good, or I think I'm doing really well, or my merchants really seem to like me. That's not success. Success is action. Success is, James, I wanted to call today and let you know that I talked to 3 merchants. 2 of them provided me with a processing statement. The 3rd one allowed me to come back as a follow-up on Thursday, and he's going to get me a processing statement. That is a successful day, and that is an action-oriented day. You're expecting the merchants to take action, and they're taking it. That is success. So keep that in mind, and when you make your sales goals, make them action items. Don't make them warm, fuzzy feelings and say, I just want everyone to feel good about me at the end of the day. That's not a good goal. A good goal is, I have these actions that I want to take. I have certain actions I want my merchants to take, and I'm going to do my part, and my goal is to get the merchant to do their part. Secondly, customer service. Very important that you be action-oriented in customer service. When a customer calls you, if you're like me, my first reaction is, I've got to make them feel good. And I have to say the right thing, and I just have to make them feel warm and fuzzy, and I have to just make them really like me. And that's all good, and you need to have that, and that's a part of it. But you know what's the most important? when a customer calls you with a concern or with an issue, the most important thing is identifying the actions that need to be taken, scheduling those actions, and taking those actions. That's the most important thing. Fix the problem. Take action. Make the phone call. Send the email to tech support. Call ISO support. Whatever it is that you need to do to fix that customer's problem and to take it to the next step, do it. And don't worry quite so much about, well, a customer had a problem and I think I really made him feel comfortable. Okay, that's great. And I'm glad you did. You need to do that. But you know what's more important than that? I would much rather have a customer that maybe I told him and said, I've got to be realistic with you here, Bob. I know you have this issue. I know it's a big issue for you, but I'm going to be realistic with you. I'm not going to be able to fix that issue today. I'm probably not going to be able to fix it tomorrow. We're probably looking at the end of the week in order for me to get this fixed. Now, the customer might not love that. And they might say, well, that's just ridiculous, and that's not fast enough, and I need this done now. I need it done right now. But you know what's better? It's better at the end of the week to actually call and say, hey, you know what? I took action, I did what I was supposed to do, and I fixed the problem. Rather than on Monday you make them feel all good and say, oh, that'll be taken care of today. That's no big issue. It's not a problem, blah, blah, blah. Friday rolls around, it's still not fixed. Not only are you going to have to fix that problem, but now you're going to have to deal with constant customer calls of them saying, hey, I thought this was going to be fixed today. What's going on? What's the problem? Because you're not thinking in terms of action. You are thinking in terms of what's going to make this person happy. And that's how salespeople think, and that's good. But you've got to start thinking action-oriented in customer service. What actions are going to have to be taken to fix this? And how long are they going to take? What's realistic? And be realistic with the customer in customer service. Lastly, with your support staff. Now, what I mean by your support staff is I mean tech support. I mean ISO support. About 2 weeks ago, or well, I guess about 3 weeks ago now, I got a really big sale. And your communication should be action-oriented. Don't send an email, don't make a phone call to someone unless you need them to take some kind of action. And before you call or email them, decide what action do I need them to take. What am I asking them to do? If you notice, when you call me on the phone, usually one of the first things I say is, what can I do for you today? The reason I ask that is because I want to get right down to the action. What do you need me to do? When you're working with someone, be action-oriented, always thinking about what actions do I need to have happen here. And then communicate those quickly and to the point and just get right to it and say, hey, here's the issue. I have a question that I need to have answered. Here is my question. Okay, or you say, I have this issue and I need this action taken. Can you do that, or who should I talk to that can do that for me? Think in terms of who can do that. What action can be taken? What can we do about this situation? So again, in the areas of sales, in the area of customer service, and in the area of your support staff, it will help your business and it will help you personally if you will think in terms of action items. What action needs to be taken today? Schedule those actions, get those actions done. Now, my name is James Shepard. If you have a terrific day today.